You are not bad with money. You are just getting started. Welcome to Flat Broke, Episode 1. You went to school for 12 years, possibly longer if you were brave or unlucky, depending on how you feel about student loans. In those 12 years, you learned the Pythagorean theorem, you learned the periodic table, you learned the causes of World War I, possibly twice. You conjugated verbs in a language you have not spoken since. You learned the water cycle, the proper way to dissect a frog and pretend you were fine with it. Nobody, not one teacher, not one class, not one single day in 12 years of mandatory education taught you how to manage money. Not a budget, not interest rates, not what a credit score is, how it is calculated, or why a bank cares about it. Not what inflation means, or why your grocery bill is higher than your parents' mortgage used to be. Not 1 hour on any of it. Because here is what that system decided. A 12-year-old absolutely needs to know the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, but they do not need to know that a 24% credit card interest rate will turn a $2,000 balance into a $4,000 problem in 3 years. And then, the moment you turn 18, the system hands you a credit card application and wishes you luck. And when you struggle, when the math doesn't work, when the month runs out before the money does, the system has a word for that. They call it poor financial management. They call it your fault. For the next 10 minutes, I am going to make a different case. Stay for the third point. It will change the way you see every financial decision you have ever made. Here is what we are going to cover. First, the exact moment the system decided you didn't need to know this. Second, the 5 things school owed you and never delivered. Third, what to do starting tonight with whatever you have right now. And if you stay until the end, the next time someone calls you bad with money, you will have a very specific, very factual answer for them. Here we go.
Part 1. The accusation.
Let's talk about the word irresponsible. It is the favorite word of people who have never had to choose between paying the electric bill and buying groceries this week. It is the word used to describe the 76% of Americans who live paycheck to paycheck, as if 76% of an entire country independently decided, as individuals, to be irresponsible at the same time.
Let's apply some basic logic to that. If one person cannot manage their money, that is a personal problem. If 76% of the population cannot manage their money, that is a system problem. And if that number represents the majority of the most economically powerful nation on Earth, that is something that has been built, designed, and carefully maintained. You are statistical proof that something is wrong with this system, not with you. Here is the number that should make you genuinely angry. Since 1979, worker productivity in the United States has grown by 61%. Worker compensation, what you actually take home, has grown by 17.5%. The economy produced dramatically more. The profits went up, the buildings got bigger, the stock portfolios got richer. Your paycheck did not keep up. Nobody voted on that. Nobody announced it. It happened, quietly. One lobbied policy, one corporate tax cut, one wage ceiling at a time. You worked harder. The economy got richer. Your paycheck didn't. That is not irresponsibility. That is math.
Part 2. The design. Now here is what the design actually looks like, from the inside. At 18, you are handed a credit card. Nobody teaches you that the average interest rate is 24%. Nobody shows you that paying only the minimum on a $3,000 balance will take 11 years to clear and cost you nearly double in interest. You just sign. At 22, you take a student loan. Nobody explains that interest capitalizes during deferment, that the balance grows while you are not even paying it yet. You just sign. At 25, you take a mortgage or a car loan. Nobody sits down and runs the real math on what 7% interest costs over 30 years. Nobody shows you the full number. You just sign. And at every single step, a bank, a lender, a financial institution is making money from your signature, not from helping you, from the gap between what you owe and what you understand. Here is a number that explains why that gap exists. The financial industry spends over $600 million per year on lobbying in the United States alone. And one of the most consistently targeted pieces of legislation across decades is mandatory financial literacy education. They spend money making sure you are not taught the system they profit from. This is not a conspiracy theory. It is a tax filing. You can look it up.
They are not evil. They are rational. A financially literate population is a less profitable population, so the curriculum stays empty. The credit card arrives on your 18th birthday, and when you struggle, the word they choose is irresponsible.
Part 3. What school owed you?
Here is what 12 years of school owed you and never delivered. Number 1. How compound interest works against you. Not the beautiful version where your savings magically double every 7 years. The other version. The version where $5,000 in credit card debt at 24% interest, if you only pay the minimum, becomes $12,000 over 8 years. You needed to know that before you got the card. Number 2, what a credit score actually measures. Not your financial intelligence, not your character. It measures how profitable you are to lenders. A person with no debt and money in savings can have a lower score than someone barely managing 5 credit cards. The score rewards engagement with the system, not independence from it.
Number 3, the difference between an asset and a liability. The simplest and most powerful financial concept that exists. An asset puts money into your pocket. A liability takes money out. Your car, liability. Your mortgage for most of its life, liability. Your savings account earning less than inflation, possibly a liability. Most people reach 40 having collected only liabilities and calling it wealth. Number 4, how inflation steals from you silently. If your money sits in a standard savings account earning 0.5% and inflation is running at 5%, your money is losing 4.5% of its real value every single year. You are working to save. The system is quietly working to unsave you. The math does not lie. Number 5, that you have legal rights and that most institutions rely on you not knowing them. You have the right to request debt validation before paying any collector. You have the right to dispute errors on your credit report. You have the right to negotiate on medical debt, on utility bills, on credit card interest rates. Most people never do any of this, not because they are incapable, because nobody ever told them it was an option. These 5 things would have changed everything. They were not taught. And that, as we have now established, is not an accident.
Part 4. The turn.
Here is the part I want you to sit with. The average person will spend approximately 90,000 hours working in their lifetime. 90,000 hours. That is 45 years of your life, given to an economy, to an employer, to a system that needed your labor and took it. And in return, that same system gave you a credit score it designed, a savings account it profits from, and a financial education of exactly 0. You are not bad with money. You are handed a game with no rulebook and then judged for how you played it. The rulebook exists. It was just never given to you. Starting with the next video, we begin at the beginning. What to do when there is nothing left at the end of the month. Not philosophy, the actual steps in order. Then debt, what it really costs, what your rights are, how to begin removing it. Then the banking system. Then what to actually own. Then how to build something real on whatever income you have right now. This is not a get-rich channel. There is no secret formula. There is no course for sale at the end of this video. There is only this, the information that should have been yours from the beginning, delivered without the condescension, without the shame, without the assumption that your only problem is a coffee habit. You are not bad with money. You are just getting started. I'm the Financial Crisis Architect, and this is Flat Broke. Subscribe if you want to learn what the educational system never taught you, and share this video with someone that needs to hear it. We start with the actual work in the next video. Until then, stay positive, and I'll see you on Tuesday.